Sylvia is in space. Ready to go? Okay, so welcome everybody tonight. This is the August 31st workshop for the month of September. We'll run through the agenda. It's been posted online for a few days. First item on the agenda is the proposed local law for the override of the tax levy. This is just, we have something we have to do just in case we go over. It doesn't mean that it's going over. It's just a formality that we have to do this local law. So we'll do this local law, and that would allow us to do the tax levy override if we have to, but that doesn't necessarily mean that it's going to happen. There'll be no confusion with that. Second item on the agenda is a proposed local law for some vehicle and traffic signs that the town is proposing to put in some developments. There's some three-way signs, and there's some just one-way stop signs. So there's some stop signs proposed for Valley Drive and Lakeview Road, Walsh Road and Cedar, Independence Drive and Red Coat Drive, Independence Drive and McKinley Court, and Independence Drive and Revere's Run. And then some no parking signs that we're proposing to put in on Cross Street, Cedar Lane, Broad Street, Aura Street, Cedar Avenue, Epiphany Drive, Browning Road, Reed Street, Raz Avenue, Panorama Drive, John Paul Jones Lane, Red Coat Drive, Pioneer Trail, Liberty Ridge, Independence Drive, Mount Airy Road, and Butternut Drive. So this would be a public hearing that people can comment on that. This is a result of the police department doing a survey to see if they're needed, and these were the signs that they come up with that we needed. A lot of this stuff was a result of some issues that we received from residents making some suggestions. Next item on the agenda is from the Recreation Department. We have received a $5,000 grant from global companies which have terminals on River Road, and they're sponsoring a band from 6:30 on September 11th. September 12th, and the fireworks at 8 o'clock to the tune of about $5,000. So I'd just like to thank Global for donating this money to the town so we can put these events on for our residents. So that'll be once again at River Road, Babcock Park on September 12th. The band will start at 6:30 and the fireworks will be at 8 p.m. Next item on the agenda is a grant that we're receiving from the state for our police department. It has to do with some traffic safety issues, and it's the amount of $10,500. And it will cover overtime for our police officers who will be working some DWI and some traffic enforcement on some of our local roads. So that helps us out with the overtime. So once again, $10,500. Next item on the agenda, we will be having a public hearing on Wednesday regarding Stewart Hill Industrial Park. And I know the board members have received the paperwork on this, and we'll hear from them or their attorneys, and then we'll make a determination next month. Is that next month or now, David? I'm on mute.
It's next month.
Next month. Okay, so we'll just have the public hearing and then we'll vote next month.
Right.
Next item on the agenda is the New Windsor Speed Survey. What I'm proposing to do is, when the board has talked about this a couple of times, is lower the speed limits on some roads in town that are 40 miles an hour. And we can, as a municipality, only lower the limit to 30 miles per hour. And that, we have nothing to do with state roads, state highways. Any road with a number in it, like 9W, 32, they're all state roads, and we have no control over them. And the county has some roads in town too. Union Avenue is one of them. But the roads that we have control over, that we're going to hear from the public if anybody wants to leave it at 40 miles an hour. And some of these roads have speed limits of 30, and then it goes to 40, and then it goes to 30 again. And I think this has been here for quite a while. And I think with the increase of population on the western end of town, and that's where they all are, out in Bethlehem, Bull, Lake Road, Morris Hill, Mount Airy, Shore, South Jackson, Tolman Road, Beatty Road, Station Road, Riley Road, Twin Arch Road. So I think this would bring the whole town into compliance with 30 miles per hour on the speed limit. The next item on the agenda is the annual snow and ice agreement that we get with the county. So this is where the county pays the town to take care of some of their roads. It's about $4,900. This is an annual thing that we deal with the county. The next item on the agenda has to do with something called SWPPP, and that's Stormwater Pollution Protection Plan. And what happened is there was developers coming to the town and asking the engineer to take a look at some things. And we would go out and look at them, and there was no charge to them for us to do this. So that's where we are now moving to make them put an escrow up and maybe some $50 for a permit. And I just thank Mike Weeks for coming up with this. He was doing a lot of work and we weren't getting reimbursed for that. So now we will be. It's doing it for them, so let them pay for it. Next item on the agenda is we recently had a little damage to one of the wells at Butterhill, and we've hired a company now to take a look at it and see why one of the wells had some damage. And once we get some reports from them, we'll talk about it again. But I know I've sent this to the board members, so it's going on now. It's not interfering with any of our water production. We have the other two wells down there, and we're getting most of our water from Riley Road, which maybe for those who are watching or may watch later, the water production in town right now, we do about 3 million gallons a day. So when I got into office, we went back on the aqueduct. We're doing about 2 million gallons a day from the aqueduct and 1 million gallon a day from Butterhill Well and the Kroll Well. The reason we have to leave those wells online is because in November, the aqueduct is shutting down again. And that will be probably for at least 3 months. So then we'll be totally dependent upon the Butterhill wells, the Kroll wells, and we have some interconnects with the town and the city of Newburgh. But that's what causes the Butterhill. We have to keep it operating because we will need it desperately comes November. So we are kind of at the mercy of the city of New York as to when they're making repairs on the Catskill Aqueduct. So that's the reason why the Butterhill wells are still up and running, and is the town's only backup right now. So whenever anything goes wrong with the aqueduct, we have to go back on the Butterhill wells, but we need to keep the wells running just to make sure that they're ready to go when we'll need them for 3 million gallons a day. So there's been some inquiries on Facebook about that, but that's why 2/3 of the water is coming from Riley Road, a third coming from Butterhill and the Kroll wells, and it's all blended together. So it kind of blends. And one of the issues is that the Butterhill wells, the water is very, 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 very hard. The aqueduct Catskill water is very, very, very soft. So those who are sensitive to it see the difference right away. So when we're blending it, we're hoping that it cuts it down. But that's the reason why we have to keep the Butterhill wells going. And I know that some people have a little trouble understanding that, but that's what it is. And I've answered that question a number of times, and we get some inquiries online and we answer that. But that's the reason that we do that. So that's our story on the well. The next item on the agenda is a survey that we have put together. The police chief, Robert Doss, and his staff has drafted this survey, and it's been looked at by the town board and by our town attorney. And we have now posted it online today. So this has to do with some requirements that the governor's office has put out, that all 500 and some odd police departments in the state have to have some policies in place. We probably had about 85% of the policies in place before, if not 90%. So one of the things we're doing now is just trying to get a feel from the community as to how they feel about our police department and the service that they provide. So the chief and myself and the board very anxious to see the results. We just finished a survey on the master plan, and we had a pretty good response to that. And this current survey will be up for probably 2 or 3 weeks. Those people who do not have internet service where they can see it online, the survey is available at the town clerk's office, at the receiver taxes office, at the assessor's office, and at the building department. So anybody who is interested in filling it out and doesn't have this access, they can stop into town hall and pick it up and then turn it into probably the town clerk's right there, turn it to Kelly Allegra, and it'll find its way to the police department. The next item on the agenda is something that we've been working on for a while. It's a town-wide towing ordinance. And what that is that we contract with several companies in town and in Newburgh to do our towing. And there was a towing law in effect for many years, and when I got into office in January, I kind of found out that it hadn't been enforced or used in a number of years. So we put it back in play again, and we asked the police chief and his staff to come up with a proposal, which they did. We ran it by the board members, and then we gave it to our town attorney, Dave Zagon, who diligently worked on this and then went back out again. And I think at this point, what we have done is we have now given this proposal with the townwide towing law to those towing operators for their comments. So we'll have them comment on it. We'll probably bring them in one night and go over their comments and see what they like or don't like about it. And we'll take it under advisement and consideration, and we'll have the police chief kind of make a recommendation to the town board. And then we'll have a public hearing where the public themselves could come in. And what this is really all about is just protecting the motoring public, that there is some kind of control over the towing companies that we dispatch, and we dispatch them. So I think when we dispatch them, we have a responsibility to make sure that everything is done according to Hoyle and on the up and up. So this has been a work in progress, and I'd like to acknowledge the work that Dave Zagon put into this. It's quite intricate because he tried to have to cover a lot of bases, and hopefully we'll get this running by the end of the year, get the public hearing done, and off we go. The next item on the agenda is we've been this Mason's Ridge town-owned building, which is the one out off of 32 just past Devitt's. It was proposed to be a town senior citizen center. It didn't seem to work out. It's really a nice building. So we're in the process of trying to sell or lease that building. So that seems to be an ongoing battle, which we will eventually win. The next item on the agenda is a proposal from our police chief, which I sent to the town board. And we'd like to put in these license plate readers known as LPRs. And what they are, they're on light poles and some other apparatus throughout town, and it records plates that go through an intersection or past a road. And any number of times we have used these plates readers to solve crimes. So the chief is asking for another one, which would be on Route 32 in the vicinity of Devitt's and Arkell Motors, and would monitor traffic there. And we have had a number of occasions where we have gone to the cameras and solved some crimes. So this is an estimated cost of about $3,500, and I think that this is money well spent, and the board will vote on this on Wednesday. Okay, that's that public portion of the workshop meeting, and now we'll go to executive session and discuss some personnel and matters. So thank you for watching tonight, and hopefully we answered some of your questions.